Well, excellent. So I'm Adrianna Cuevas. I am the author of The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez, which is a Pura Belpre honor book for this year. Yep. And then also Cuba in My Pocket, which is a historical fiction, which is publishing September 21st. And so we will attempt the share screen. So there's all my information.
Okay. Let me take a picture. Okay.
So on my website at adriannacuevas.com, I have contact information for any librarians that are interested in arranging school visits. I was a teacher for 16 years before I wrote full-time, so I absolutely love doing school visits and getting the chance to talk to students again. I typically talk to students in about 3rd or 4th through 7th grade. That's kind of the sweet spot for middle grade books like mine. And then on Twitter, I'm A Cuevas Writes, and then on Instagram, I'm just Adrianna Cuevas. So anyways, I'm going to, for the librarians that are participating, I'm going to tell you each a little bit about each of my books. And then if you, at the end of our chat, any librarians that are interested in entering to win a copy of Nestor Lopez and then a pre-order of Cuba in My Pocket, just go to my website, fill out the contact form, and make sure you give me your school address, and then I will pick a winner from the entries there. So to start off with, The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez is my middle grade debut. It released last July in the middle of, I guess, an exciting time for all of us in publishing. It was originally supposed to release in May, but it got pushed because of everything that was going on. And so it is about a boy named Nestor who is a military kid, so he is used to moving around a ton, and he finally gets the chance to live off of a military base when he moves in with his abuela in New Haven, Texas. And his big goal is to make sure that nobody in his new town finds out his deepest, darkest secret, which is that he can talk to animals. But eventually a Tule Vieja comes creeping through the woods and starts terrorizing all the animals in town. And so Nestor has to decide if he's going to risk revealing his secret in order to save everyone. And so if you have students that like fast-paced books, they like adventure stories, they like humor, but they also like a little bit of creepiness in their stories, then this is the perfect book for them. I incorporated elements of each member of my family in writing this book. Nestor's obsession with animals comes from my own son, because when he was younger, he used to sit on my bed and flip through this massive animal encyclopedia, and he would ask me questions from it. He would describe an animal, and I was supposed to be able to guess like what animal he was talking about, and I never got it right. But he is super obsessed with biology, marine biology, and so I took a lot of Nestor's interests from him. And then the fact that Nestor's dad is in the military comes from my husband's experiences. The first 4 years that we were married, he was deployed as a military policeman in Iraq, so we never really saw each other. And so all of Nestor's feelings about having a dad that's overseas come from that time in my life. And then finally, there's a lot of Spanish in the book and a lot of Cuban food because I'm Cuban American. I grew up in Miami. And so it was just natural for me to write my culture into a story. So there's the abuela, and she's sharing her kind of immigration story of what it was like to come to the US. And from that part of Nestor, though, where his abuela is telling him how she came to the US, is actually what prompted me writing my second book, Cuba in My Pocket. This is quite the 180 from Nestor Lopez because instead of a contemporary fantasy, it is a historical fiction because it's based on my dad's experiences coming to the US in the 1960s by himself from Cuba. And so I got to sit down with my dad, have him tell me a whole bunch of stories of what that was like. I got to hear things that I never knew about my dad, which is really cool. And he got to read the book before it published, which was nice because he passed away last November. And so it's really important for me to have this story out there so that I can kind of continue my dad's legacy, share things about him. Even though it is very different from Nestor, it still has a lot of the same tone where both characters, both Nestor and Cuba, who is the main character of Cuba in My Pocket, kind of use humor to deal with things. So Cuba in My Pocket would be good for students who like historical fiction, who like stories of kids who are kind of by themselves facing the odds, kind of thrust into new situations. And also good for kids who like both the juxtaposition of humor and kind of some serious issues. So those are my two books that I have. And like I said, if your library is interested in winning a copy of either of these, just head to my website at adriannacuevas.com, fill out the contact form. If you're also interested in arranging a school visit, I'm still booking those. I know we're heading towards the end of this school year, but I'm still doing school visits. They're about 30 minutes long for schools. So that is what I have to present about my book.
Congratulations on your Pura Belpre. That is
incredible.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
To say that it was unexpected would be an understatement, because I kid you not, I was chatting with a teacher who I was going to do a school visit for World Read Aloud Day, the Sunday that ALA was making all the calls. And so this teacher just mentioned to me like, oh, hey, it's awards season. And I literally laughed at her. I was like, yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, yeah, it's awards season. I said, I have no expectations. She and I got off that call, and 5 minutes later, my phone rang. But I never answer my phone. I hate talking on the phone, and especially I'm not going to pick up numbers that I don't know. So I ignored the call. And then they called again, and I ignored it again. And finally, I get this voicemail that says, hi, this is so-and-so from ALA. You really need to pick up the phone. And I was so embarrassed. So I finally picked up, and they told me, that I had won the Pura Belpre honor. But by that time, I was already walking around my neighborhood for exercise. And so all of my neighbors thought I was a little ridiculous because there's this like crazy woman sobbing down the street. So it was an adventure, but yes, I am beyond thrilled and excited for.
Did you scream and dance or something?
I know I should have, but they're already thinking I was weird. That was enough.